Open your fridge right now. Look at what's sitting on your counter. A box of cereal so sweet, it's basically dessert. A loaf of white bread waiting for jam. A carton of orange juice you tell yourself is healthy. Maybe a muffin from yesterday, still in its wrapper, calling your name. This is how most people start their day. And in about 40 minutes, most people crash. The fog rolls in. The eyelids get heavy. The 10 den. Slump hits before the day has even really begun. And they blame it on not sleeping enough or not drinking enough coffee. But walk into a kitchen in Tokyo or Kyoto or a quiet fishing town on the coast of Japan, and the counter looks completely different. No cereal box, no white bread, no sugar-loaded juice. And it's not about willpower. It's not about discipline. It's not even really about diet culture at all. It's about 7 specific foods that Japanese households quietly stopped putting on the breakfast table generations ago. And the reasons why will change how you look at your own kitchen forever. Stay to the end, because the 7th one is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most damaging thing in your entire morning routine. Before we go through these 7, understand something important. This isn't a list of bad foods in the way diet culture usually means it. Nothing here is about calories or willpower or punishment. It's about a different relationship with the morning, one built around steadiness instead of spikes, around nourishment instead of convenience. In Japan, the traditional breakfast, the asa gohan, was built to prepare the body for hours of sustained effort, not to give it a jolt and then let it fall. Rice, miso soup, grilled fish, a few pickled vegetables. Simple, balanced, almost boring by Western standards. Ariwahav hapao. And that's exactly the point. So here are the 7 foods that rarely, if ever, make it onto a traditional Japanese breakfast table, and what removing them from yours might actually do for your energy, your focus, and your mood. Food number 1, sugary breakfast cereal. Why most people eat it comes down to convenience, mostly, but underneath the convenience is something else, nostalgia. Cereal is comfort food dressed up as a food group. It reminds people of childhood, of Saturday mornings, of simplicity. The guilt gets brushed aside because it's just breakfast. Japanese people rarely start the day this way, and the reason is simple. A bowl of sweetened cereal is, nutritionally, closer to a bowl of candy than a bowl of grain. Traditional Japanese breakfast culture treats the morning meal as the foundation for the entire day's energy, not a sugar delivery system. Rice, by contrast, digests slowly and releases glucose in a controlled, gradual way. When you swap a sugar spike for a slow-releasing carbohydrate, your blood sugar doesn't rocket up and crash 2 hours later. That crash is not tiredness. It's withdrawal from your own breakfast. Removing the spike means removing the crash, and the crash is where most people's 10 a.m. fog comes from. Here's the rule going forward. If the first ingredient on the box is a form of sugar, it doesn't belong at the start of your day. But here's something even more revealing than what's in the bowl. It's what's spread on the toast next to it. Food number 2, white toast with sweet jam. Most people keep this in their routine because it's fast. It's cheap. It requires almost no thought. 2 slices in the toaster. A spoon of jam, done in 90 seconds. In a rushed morning, that speed feels like a win. Japanese people never build a breakfast around it, because refined white bread has had most of its fibers stripped away, and jam is often more sugar than fruit. Together, they create almost the exact same blood sugar spike as the cereal bowl, just in sandwich form. Traditional Japanese breakfasts favor rice precisely because whole, minimally processed carbohydrates keep blood sugar level instead of launching it upward. Without that spike and crash cycle repeating meal after meal, your body stops treating breakfast like an emergency fuel drop and starts treating it like sustained nourishment. People who make this switch often report their hunger becomes more predictable, not those sudden, desperate cravings around 11 a.m. The rule going forward, if breakfast is mostly refined flour and added sugar, it's not fueling you. It's borrowing energy you'll have to pay back later, with interest. And speaking of borrowing energy, The next item is the one most people are convinced is actually good for them. Food number 3, sweetened orange juice. Marketing did its job well here. For decades, orange juice has been sold as the picture of a healthy breakfast. Vitamin C, sunshine in a glass, the wholesome choice next to the eggs. The label says 100% juice, and the guilt disappears. But even 100% fruit juice, once the fiber of the fruit is removed, behaves in the body far more like a sugary drink than like fruit. A traditional Japanese breakfast almost never includes juice at all. Hydration comes from green tea or water, and any fruit is eaten whole, fiber intact. So the sugar is absorbed slowly instead of all at once. Whole fruit or no fruit sugar at all in the morning means one less spike stacked on top of the others. Most people don't realize they're drinking the sugar equivalent of a candy bar and calling it health food. The rule going forward: if you want the fruit, eat the fruit. Don't drink it. Now here's where things start to get a little uncomfortable, because the fourth item is the one almost everyone considers a protein win. Food number 4, processed breakfast meats, bacon, sausage links, ham. These feel like the real part of breakfast, the protein that's supposed to keep you full. There's a cultural association between a hot plate of fried meat and a satisfying, indulgent start to the day. Traditional Japanese breakfast protein comes from grilled or steamed fish, a soft-boiled egg, or fermented soy, not from heavily processed, salted, fatty cuts of meat cooked in their own grease. The philosophy isn't anti-meat, it's pro-simplicity. Protein that's easy on digestion first thing in the morning, not protein that sits heavy and greasy in the stomach for hours. Lighter, cleaner protein sources digest faster and don't compete with your body's morning cortisol rhythm the way heavy, fatty, processed meats do. People who make this swap often describe feeling alert rather than sluggish an hour after eating. The rule going forward: choose protein that wakes your body up, not protein that asks it to slow down and digest. But there's something even more fundamental than what's on the plate. It's what most people are drinking before they've eaten anything at all. Food number 5, coffee on a completely empty stomach. For a huge number of people, coffee isn't a beverage. It's a ritual, almost a survival mechanism. Roll out of bed, straight to the coffee maker, first sip before a single bite of food. It feels like the thing that makes the day possible. A traditional Japanese breakfast is built around eating first. Rice, soup, something small, with tea alongside it, not caffeine as the opening act on an empty stomach. Caffeine taken before any food can spike cortisol and stomach acid at the exact moment your body is least prepared to buffer it, which is part of why some people feel jittery, anxious, or nauseated first thing in the morning. Eating something small before caffeine gives your body a buffer. The same cup of coffee, taken after a few bites of food, tends to produce steady alertness instead of a jittery spike followed by a mid-morning dip. The rule going forward: food first, caffeine second. Not the other way around. Now we're getting into the two that almost nobody expects, starting with something that's on nearly every healthy breakfast list you've ever seen. Food number 6, flavored yogurt and granola bars. These have been marketed relentlessly as the smart, on-the-go healthy choice. A cup of yogurt, a granola bar, grabbed on the way out the door. It feels responsible, even virtuous. Most flavored yogurts and mass-market granola bars are, once again, sugar wearing a health halo. A traditional Japanese breakfast almost never includes a sweetened dairy product or a processed snack bar as the centerpiece of the meal. Fermented foods appear instead in savory forms like miso and pickles, where the benefit comes without the added sugar. Swapping a sweetened, processed health food for something plain and minimally processed removes yet another hidden spike from your morning. Often the one people are most surprised to learn was ever a problem in the first place. The rule going forward: if a food had to be marketed to convince you it's healthy, read the label before you believe it. And now, the 7th one, the one we promised at the very beginning, the one almost nobody talks about. Food number 7, skipping breakfast entirely, replaced by nothing but stress. In the rush of modern mornings, a huge number of people simply don't eat at all. They tell themselves it's fine, that they're not hungry, that they'll grab something later. It feels efficient. It feels like time saved. The traditional Japanese view of breakfast isn't about eating a specific food so much as it's about eating something, a small, steady meal that signals to the body the day has begun and it will be met with care. Skipping the meal entirely doesn't remove a spike. It removes the entire foundation the rest of the day was supposed to stand on, leaving cortisol to run the morning unchecked instead. People who replace nothing with even a small, balanced meal, some protein, some slow-digesting carbohydrate, often notice their anxiety in the first hour of the day soften. Not because the food itself is magic, but because the body finally has something steady to run on instead of stress alone. The rule going forward, something small and steady, is always better than nothing at all. So here they are again, all 7 side by side. The sugary cereal, the white toast with sweet jam, the juice that pretends to be fruit, the greasy processed meat, the coffee taken before any food touches your stomach, the sweetened yogurt marketed as health food, and the meals skipped altogether. Individually, each one seems small, harmless even, but stacked together morning after morning, they form a pattern, a body that spikes and crashes before it's even had the chance to properly begin the day. This was never really about 7 foods. It's about one principle. Your morning should build steady energy, not borrow it. A traditional Japanese breakfast isn't magic, and it isn't about being Japanese. It's about eating something whole, something balanced, something that respects the fact that your body still has 14 hours of work ahead of it. When you begin removing these 7 things, even slowly, even one at a time, you'll likely notice the fog lifts a little earlier, the 10 a.m. crash arrives a little softer, and the day feels a little less like something you're surviving and a little more like something you're actually running. So look at your kitchen counter one more time. Which one of these 7 is still sitting there tomorrow morning? And which one will you finally remove first? Let me know in the comments. And if this shifted how you think about your mornings, subscribe, because there's a lot more where this came from.